Before we get into today's mailbag, make sure you guys share today's video for me on social media if you haven't done so already. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. It works for us here at Bengals Breakdown. We're just trying to get some people that are Bengals fans but aren't necessarily tapped in to what we're doing here at Bengals Breakdown, trying to bring them along, get them interactive with our show, and subscribe to our show as well. So help me out and share today's video for me right now. $2 super chat here from the Sky Warrior. Appreciate that from the Sky Warrior, saying, how many sacks will Joe Burrow take this year? Good question. I really don't have a number that comes to mind, but I will say this. Some of the sacks that he takes are his fault, and that's okay. That's the way he plays the game. He's going to hold on to that ball until the last possible second trying to make a play. So some of those sacks, a lot of people, always crush the Bengals offensive line. Trust me, they deserve a lot of criticism, but sometimes it's, Burrow trying to extend, hold on to that ball, and he takes some shots. Is that great for the longevity of his career? Probably not, but that's the way he plays the game, and he plays it at a really high elite level. Thought really last year was the best offensive line that he had played with during his time in the NFL. Hopefully it improves from 24 to 25. He takes less hits. And in situations where I thought he did a good job of that this past year. Situations when he didn't need to take shots, he didn't take shots. But, when you look around the league, he takes some absolutely wicked shots, and he pops right back up. It's my favorite thing about Joe Burrow, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, when he throws dimes, that's great too. But just the fact that he can just let go of the ball and take a freaking shot and then just pop right back up and be ready to go, I absolutely love it out of Joe Burrow. Hopefully he doesn't get sacked too many times this season. CWT, what's your biggest disappointment of this draft? Good question here from CWT. On draft night, the night of the first round, I probably would have said the first pick and Shamar Stewart, but I don't feel that way anymore. I've had some time to digest it, research it a little bit more. I'm starting to feel better about the Shamar Stewart pick. My biggest disappointment is not taking a safety. It's been, if you watch the show, I wanted Starks in the first round. Now he goes to Baltimore. You got to deal with Kyle Hamilton and Malaki Starks. That might present some issues for you for a stretch here in the AFC North, but I digress. Fourth round, Latham Ransom was sitting right there for you out of Ohio State. And then you take Barrett Carter. Hopefully that works out, right? Linebacker out of Clemson, double-dipped at that linebacker spot. Hopefully it works out. But then Ransom goes a couple of picks later to Carolina. I would say that probably is my biggest disappointment. But, really, when you look at Cincinnati, it's really the only thing you can be ticked off about based on free agency and the draft was that you didn't check the safety spot. They did a lot of good stuff this offseason. Hopefully it's enough to make them championship contenders in 25. Seth, will Jermaine Burton make the football team? Yeah, he's going to be given every opportunity to do so. Look, Cincinnati did not draft a wide receiver, and they did not bring in a veteran free agent. Obviously, there are several UDFA guys, I believe 3 UDFA wide receivers. Is that going to, mean that one of them can challenge him and take his spot? Probably not, unless he does something stupid again, which, with him, unfortunately, you never can tell if he's going to, clean up his act or not. 2 evictions as the assault, not charges, but accusations. And then just, missing practice, falling asleep in meetings, right? They held him back from the Pittsburgh trip, wasn't able to go on that. Just lots of unprofessional stuff there from Jermaine Burton in 24. But based on what Cincinnati did this whole offseason, they're going to give him another opportunity. It's up to him to take advantage of it. But right now, I think he'll be back with this football team. Let me know. What do you think? Will Jermaine Burton make this football team in 2025? Type Y for yes or N for no. Let me know in the comments of today's show. The edit zone, was this offseason enough to get our defense top 15? It's a good question. And that answer falls directly on the shoulders of Al Golden. From, a piece perspective, no. Right, because you ran it, you brought some guys back that weren't playing great for you. B.J. Hill, certainly one of them. Joseph Osai, another guy as well. And obviously you did use several draft picks on the defensive side of the football. So we'll see. From a moves perspective, player perspective, personnel perspective, I would say no. But I think I'm really banking on Al Golden. The Bengals are going all in. They are shoving their chips on Al Golden, and I'm doing the same. I'm really fired up about him taking over this Bengals defense. But I do want to make note, defense doesn't need to be top 15, right? I mean, top 20, yeah, probably. But if they just don't absolutely stink, this team's going to make the playoffs. They absolutely stunk last year. Obviously, they missed out. Epic MX, who's your favorite UDFA that the Cincinnati Bengals signed? For me, it is Seth McLaughlin, who played at Alabama before finishing up his career at Ohio State. To me, he's a guy that if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, I believe he popped his Achilles. That's what cost him the remainder of the season for Ohio State. Chris has given me the yes on that. He would have gotten drafted, right? This was the best center in college football before he got hurt. Were there some snap issues at Alabama? Absolutely. But I look at Seth McLaughlin as a guy that don't know if he's going to be ready to go this year with that Achilles. And, he's a lineman. Obviously, there's some concerns there. But if he's able to get back to fully healthy, I think we will see him play for the Cincinnati Bengals at some point. I think he could be a very formidable offensive lineman for this football team. So if I had to pick one, I would go with Seth McLaughlin. Also like Jordan Moore a lot, the wide receiver out of Duke. Really hope he sticks around on the practice squad, and then obviously if somebody gets hurt, potentially has the ability to play for the Cincinnati Bengals. We will continue with our show here in a second, but do want to give a shout out to our friends over at Fanatics. Let you guys know that obviously the draft is in the rearview mirror. The draft is over. That's all right, because Bengals Draft Hats are still available and on sale now over at Fanatics. They've got some really cool ones this year. Really encourage you guys to go over to Fanatics and check that out. chatsports.com/Bengals Draft Hats, and we will put that link in the comment section and the description of today's show. The Sky Warrior, how many wins to get the 1 seed? Good question. I think, I just kind of running through here with the AFC. Obviously, people are picking on Kansas City for their performance in the Super Bowl. They're going to be back. They're going to be okay. Are they going to be as good? Are they going to get as lucky in those one-score games? Probably not. But they're definitely going to be a team you got to go after. 17 games. I think you got to probably 13 or 14, I would say, to get that 1 seed. If the Bengals can get it one of these years, man, they're going to be lethal. Because think about the runs they've been on. They always have to go on the road, and they typically do well on the road, right? Do you win that the second AFC Championship in 22 when you had to go to Kansas City? Maybe, right? But if they can get one of these things at home throughout the whole entirety of the playoffs, that's going to be some good spell good things for Cincinnati. Obviously, in order for that to happen, you got to play well in September, something this team has never done under Zach Taylor. Cobra Kai Zone. Do you think Taj Brooks is running back 2? No, but I do like the pick a lot, and there may become a time where he does develop into running back 2 for this Bengals football team. Look, the value of Tahj Brooks is so much higher than where Cincinnati acquired him in the draft in the 6th round. This is a guy that really rounds out this running back room for 2025. And as we go on into the future, he very well could skyrocket up that depth chart. You never know how long, Samaje Perine's going to be here. Obviously, Zach Moss is back on a 1-year deal, so he very well could be that RB2 in 2026. But I'm really looking forward to watching him play in the preseason. I think he's going to have a great career here in Cincinnati. I'm really excited that the Bengals were able to land him in the 6th round. Willie B says, favorite Bengals draft pick. For me, my favorite pick definitely is Dylan Fairchild in the 3rd round out of Georgia. It was a position of need, right? You opted not to take interior offensive linemen in the first 2 rounds, which I'm okay with that. And you had to take one there in round 3, and you did it, and you had a really good player in Dylan Fairchild. There's a lot of people that say that, the value doesn't exactly meet where you picked him. I kind of disagree with that. I think he's a really good offensive lineman. I think he's going to come in from day one and be your starting left guard. I think he's going to do a great job of protecting Joe Burrow. Obviously, there is that chemistry already built in with Amarius Mims as the 2 were teammates at Georgia. But this is a really tough dude, really physical guy, and he's got some true cowboy strength out there playing interior offensive line. I'm really excited for Dylan Fairchild. I would say he is my favorite pick. And then Taj Brooks would probably be my next favorite pick, that running back in the 6th round. I want to hear from you guys. Who is your favorite Bengals draft pick? Let me know in the comments of today's show. Colin, are you worried about the Ravens getting Starks and Mike Green? Yeah, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, I am a little bit worried about that. and really not necessarily about, Cincinnati not being able to score on Baltimore, but we know Baltimore can score at will against Cincinnati, right? Think about the two games this past year, just two absolute shootouts, two games that you had won, and you ended up losing both of them. I won't go on a rant about that, but yeah, I mean, Baltimore gets two top-of-the-line picks, and obviously Mike Green wasn't even a first-round guy. He slipped, some of the off-the-field stuff with Mike Green. We'll see if anything else turns up from that, but obviously that scared a lot of teams away. But as far as a player goes, it is a steal for Baltimore, and I was really worried that they were going to land Malaki Starks. And that's just an incredible duo at that safety position with Starks and Kyle Hamilton. I'm concerned about Baltimore. I think you're always concerned about Baltimore, but I'll still bet on us every time against them as well. If you are enjoying this Bengals mailbag, you are in luck because we got more of them coming your guys' way. Don't miss out on any future Bengals mailbags. Hit that sub button for me right now. Dr. B, who will start, Demetrius Knight or Barrett Carter? Demetrius Knight will start. We'll see. I'm not going to, mentioned this before. I don't know a ton about Barrett Carter. I know, Clemson guy, obviously was a highly rated recruit coming in. People expected him to kind of burst onto the scene. But they picked Demetrius Knight to be that starter alongside Logan Wilson. I think he will be. And I would argue that's maybe the most important pick Cincinnati made in this past draft. They kind of took a bit of a flyer. I don't know if that's the right phrasing, but you took a little risk taking Shamar Stewart at 17 overall. You have to hit this Demetrius Knight pick out of the park. Al Golden loves him. Al Golden wanted him. Al Golden got him. Hopefully Al Golden can develop him into a starting linebacker alongside Wilson.